So this is the book I'm reading. That is Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. It's a children's classic. Now, talking a little about Lewis Carroll, that was his pen name. For his actual name was Charles Ludwig Dodson. He was an English author, mathematician, and photographer, born in Daresbury. He was a shy, brilliant academic who taught mathematics at Christ Church, Oxford, for over 25 years. He is best known for his beloved children's classics, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, which he wrote for Alice Liddell. His works are celebrated for their wit, logic puzzles, and literary nonsense. Beyond literature, Carroll was a pioneering photographer and a prolific author of mathematical treatises. And if you're talking about his writing style, it was like playful logic. He blends, he there was a blend of absurdity with math-like precision. And in his writings, you find word play, so many word plays, puns, riddles, nonsense, poetry. And you also find there's a lot of satire. Uh, he he has his a unique way of critiquing society through Wonderland's chaos. And really, I mean, it is a book for children because it captures curiosity, logic defying fun, sort of. But when you really read, it's got a depth of meaning. So, what we're talking about Lewis Carroll's technique, um, you find nonsense logic. Like, for example, I mean, the whole thing that he has done in the Through the Looking Glass, you'll find it's a chessboard game, and there are a lot of word plays, homophones, clever twists. Then the satirical mirrors uses absurdity to reflect Victorian norms, and there is a dreamlike flow throughout his writing. It mimics subconscious jumps, like the entire Alice's adventures, as you will see. Then, even the poems that he writes are really, I mean, they make a lot of, though nonsense sometimes, but they really are deep. And, like, in this, you have the Jabberwocky poem. The first stanza is written, you won't even be able to read it, but then Alice says, well, it looks like it was written, it has to be read with a mirror, a reflection. When you see it in the mirror, the reflection is okay, and something like that. So, and then even he's invented words that create vivid absurdity. And uh, so, yes, the chessboard world, I'll show you, we'll go through it. And so the first book was Alice's Adventures. Now here is Alice sees, what does Alice find through the looking glass, or through the looking glass, what Alice found there. Well, in the story, Alice is a white pawn on this chessboard, as you see, and she has to win in 11 moves. I mean, in 11 moves, she becomes the queen. And how how does it happen is for you to find out. Like, you'll come across many characters like mm, like the like Tweedledee, Unicorn, Sheep, White Queen, White King, Aged Man, White Knight, Tweedledum. So Tweedledee, Tweedledum. Then you have Red. These are the white, the red pieces are pawns. Then Daisy, Humpty Dumpty, then Walrus, Red Queen, Red King, Tiger Lily, Rose. So the pawns are Daisy, Messenger, Oyster, Tiger Lily, Rose, Oyster, Frog, Daisy. So it's really interesting when you go through that. So in keeping the with the through the looking glass, life can be seen as a chessboard where board represents society and its rules. Like, if you compare the story with real life situation. Now, if you're talking about the pieces on the board, the pawns, queen, knight, rook, etc., they symbolize human roles and abilities. And the movement on the board reflect choices and growth. And the strategy you are using in your game is exactly what happens in life is that mirrors your wisdom and foresight. And here, when in those 11 moves, when Alice becomes from a pawn to queen, it shows promotion. That is, it symbolizes transformation. So Carroll's chess metaphor ultimately suggests that life is both structured and unpredictable. We move within rules we did not design, yet our choices, like chess moves, shape the outcome of the game. Now, this book he published in 1871 as a sequel to Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. So, The Looking Glass, and this sequel expands Carroll's imaginative universe. Beneath its playful language and fantastical characters, beneath all of that, beneath its playful language and fantastical characters, lies a complex exploration of logic, identity, time, power, and the instability of meaning. Now, the story is based on a chess game. Alice begins as a pawn and progresses across the board, going through all those moves, facing or rather grappling with many and untoward instances to emerge a queen. However, while the chess game implies logic and structure, events within it remain chaotic and unpredictable. This tension between order and absurdity mirrors the paradox of logic itself, a recurring theme in Carroll's work, influenced by his background as a mathematician. The novel's dream framework allows Carroll to blur boundaries between imagination and reality. The suggestion that the entire story may be the Red King's dream. Really, I mean, it's hilarious. The Red um, King threatens to open his eyes, and with that, everything will vanish. He tells Alice. You must read that to find out. The Red Queen's famous race with Alice, the idea that constant effort results in no progress. One might run and run to stay in the same place. While the novel appears childlike and whimsical, its nonsense operates philosophically. Uh, I mean, there is there's a lot of philosophy in this when you're reading this. I mean, as an adult, you find it is so philosophical. As a kid, you enjoy it. As children's fantasy filled with memorable characters and poems, and then as intellectual satire engaging with logic and epistemology, and power. What appears to be a playful nonsense ultimately becomes a profound meditation on the instability of reality. Carroll demonstrates that beneath rigid systems, whether linguistic, social, or logical, lies uncertainty. The looking glass world is not mm, merely absurd, it is a mirror reflecting the contradictions of the real life. And discover for yourself, you'll enjoy it because it is on both accounts, on the philosophical I mean, since I've said it, you read it as a sort of a fairy tale, a dream sequence or something, and then think about it. It's profound. You will enjoy it. I absolutely recommend it to anyone, to everybody. Happy reading.